Parasitoid wasp.
Wait a second. Does that mean there's a bumblebee in there?
Leaf miner fly.
I don't think there's anything in here right now. Leaf
We call
miner.
this our IPM, or Integrated Pest Management Lab. Here in our greenhouses, we have lots of different techniques that we use to maintain a clean environment for our crops to grow in. The first thing we do is considered cultural control, and that's just how we interact with our plants. So I ask you not to touch our plants. We don't want to bring anything in. We're very clean. We use about a 30% bleach solution on a lot of our tools, our pruners that we use when we want to prune one plant. We don't want to transmit anything to the next one. A lot of our pots we like to reuse as well. We'll clean those with a mild bleach solution or even concentrated Lysol. We will take about a teaspoon for a 5-gallon bucket and use that to clean out our pots, rinse them really well, make sure they're dry before we put a new plant in there. You'll also notice in a lot of our greenhouses, our plants are suspended using string. That's another technique to keep things clean. There's not as much moisture, you don't get as much mold growth or fungus. So keeping things clean is really the first thing, and we encourage all of you to do that at home. It's the easiest thing to do. The second thing that we like to do here at the Land is biological control, and that's releasing beneficial insects. So that's where I come in. I go into the greenhouses and I scout for pests, and then we purchase beneficials. There's a couple colonies that we have here that we'll release. Then we'll just pump as many of those in there as we can. Releasing beneficials can be a little tricky. You really want to get something that's specific to the insect that you have if you do have a pest problem. So a lot of times if a guest asks me about pests they have it at home, I always tell them to take a sample of it, catch one, take it to your local extension agent, and they can tell you the best way to fight it with biological control and beneficials. The third thing that we might have to do here is spray pesticides with our greenhouses because they're hydroponic. We don't want to have extra chemicals in there through the use of pesticides. Also, with our relationship with the restaurants, they take our produce from us because it's fresh when we harvest it, and we deliver it the same day. So they are getting like the best of the best. If we spray pesticides, we're going to have to wait a certain amount of time before we can harvest it, and then by then it might not be as good as it could be. So we don't want to ruin those relationships, so we prefer to use the biological control and the beneficials. This is really kind of the first thing we go to if we do see pests. We hope that everyone in the greenhouse is already maintaining the cleanliness aspect of it. That's just considered a basic thing that we all do. The system that I have here set up for you is a leaf miner fly. Those are in the cages on the left. Those are our pests. And then in the cages on the right with the orange stickers on the plants, those are the beneficial that we use. That is a parasitoid wasp called an opius wasp. What the leaf miners do, I have lime green plants in here. I'll stick those plants in there, and the leaf miners fly down to the plant. They lay their eggs inside the inner tissues of the leaf. When that egg hatches, it forms a little larva. It almost looks like a little tiny worm. And what that worm does is it tunnels its way through the inside of the plant. It causes a lot of damage to the leaves. So then the plant can't function properly, and all the fruit just not going to be as good as we would want it to be. We're not going to get as many, or they're not going to be as big. So what I'll do is the patterning actually on the leaves in the cages on the right, that's the damage that the leaf miner does. So you can see they're just tunneling through there. They make it's kind of pretty in a weird way, but that's the damage. So when I see damage like that happening, I will introduce the wasp. So I'll let the leaf miners lay their eggs inside the plants, and then I'll put those plants in the cage with the wasp, and the wasp will attack those larvae and lay their eggs inside of the larvae. So it's kind of interrupting the life cycle of the fly a little bit. So the wasp will lay its egg inside of that larva. When it does that, I'll take the plants out and I'll prop them up on the funnels that you see right here. And the larva is going to crawl out and it's going to try to fall to the ground and start becoming a fly. But what's going to happen is it's going to fall down the nifty little funnel right there into the cups. I'll catch them in there, and the wasp will start to kind of eat its way out from the inside. It's almost like the Alien movies, if you've ever seen that. So what we're kind of doing with this system is producing more wasps that we can release out in the greenhouses, and we keep a small colony of leaf miner flies in here just to reproduce the wasp.
But the wasp doesn't do any damage to the plant.
No, they're very, they won't hurt us, they won't damage the plant. They're very tiny, as you can see flying around in there. So that's why we like them. A lot of the beneficials that we use, they're all that small.
Are they wasps flying in there now?
Those are wasps.
wasps.
They look like baby flies.
They're wasps. They're just really tiny. No. We'll put males and females in there all together. Yeah, we'll put males and females in
I
there.
didn't see them down below there like on the leaves.
The wasp.
So let's see
No,
what's
no,
going
I mean,
on.
how do you?
They will lay their eggs inside of the larva.
What's
inside
going on?
Oh, okay.
That's where the larvae drop in the cups.
Can you see? Is there?
So then you kind of decrease your leaf miner population because all
Can you
those
see
larvae
it
are becoming
happening?
wasps instead of
Yeah, there's one right there.
So do they lay the wasps more than one egg?
They can. If you have
I'm not seeing any right now.
small
Yeah,
number
they're
of
each
brood
individual.
liners, multiple wasps will try to lay eggs inside of the same larva, but then they become
Yeah.
unsuccessful. You'll only, like, it won't survive. Because you can only really have like one or two per larva, typically. Preferably one,
Does
but
it kill the larva as soon as they...
not right away, but it'll start growing inside there and take your resources away from it. And then usually when it falls out, that's the time period when the wasp really kicks into gear and starts developing.
So this what is this yellow thing that all the like little bugs
That catches any wasps that get out of the cages, wasps or flies that get out of the cages. It's a sticky card.
So the material in these cups, these are the larvae.
The little like dots.
Hard to see on camera, but I can see them.
So those are the larvae when they fall out.
There.
look
Little
like,
round,
seeds.
little seed. Yeah, little brown,
They're like little cocoons almost.
little cocoons.
So I have a question. What are the little larvae that are in jumping beans? Like,
I have no idea.
because one of my friends brought one into school, and I'm like,
I have no idea.
I was just curious. So.
Yeah. Do you guys have any other questions?
So how often?
I
How often do you?
collect them every day, and they'll develop in about 2 weeks. They'll hatch out, and then I'll release them in those greenhouses.
The ones you have in there, those are gonna hatch.
They're supposed to hatch on the 2nd. I put the date on there 2 weeks from the date I collected
How long do
it.
they live for?
They can, I mean, they'll live for a while, a couple months.
A couple months.
Maybe if they have a food source. In our greenhouses, they don't have much of a food source because a lot of our plants are crop producing plants. They're not really flowering plants.
Do they build nests?
No, they don't build nests or anything. No. A lot of them fly away. Our greenhouses are a good example of what you would do if you had an outside garden. Because of the bow ride, a lot of beneficials get swept out, so we're constantly releasing. A lot of really insulated greenhouses, they only release a couple times, and they have like self-sustaining colonies. But because of ours, they just kind of keep pumping it in.
What are the wasps eating? Or do they eat?
There's honey on the tabs, so we give them honey. They would typically get like nectar and pollen and things, but because we don't have any flowering plants in there, we just put honey on the tabs. On the sticky tabs. Yeah. Yeah, we change those out every other day.
How do you catch them?
You have honey on
Do you
it.
have to catch them live?
We have this colony always going, so we just keep. We have a cage here with a bag of
They're
wasps,
feeding
and then we
off
have a
those
cage
tabs that are
in
hanging
the back
down.
with a stack of flies.
It's got
So
honey.
Let's say at home I didn't know what the fly was. Let's say
I would look for the damage on the leaves, collect that, and then just put it in a cage, and then see whatever hatches out of it.
Oh, okay. So this damage is the
That's
larva?
the leaf miner larva. Yeah.
So when you open the door to change the tabs, they fly out?
They'll fly out. I'll try to vacuum them up as much as I can, or they'll get caught in the sticky cards.
So you vacuum, they kill them?
Yeah, I don't want them to become everywhere, so I try to keep them isolated as much as possible. Just control it a lot more. The big thing with rearing insects is you really have to be in control of what's going on, or else they'll go crazy. They need a certain humidity. It's like growing plants. I want to keep preserved.
Leave them like gone outside.
Oh, I'm sure. But it's not in a large number that they're gonna hurt anything.
This turns into the seeds, or those little seeds?
They'll fall out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they crawl out. That's what I talked about when I talked about the funnels.
Yeah, yeah.
They'll crawl out there.
Wow.
All right, we're gonna take a quick pit stop at the biotechnology lab before we get in the greenhouses. If the last person could shut the door, that would be awesome.
Last person, please.
Well, it's nice out here, isn't it?
Yeah.
What attracted you to entomology?
Well, in college I was on the dance team, and our academic advisor was the graduate coordinator for entomology. So I was always working with him, and I just liked working with him. I liked the department, so I just switched my major. So it was fun. It was more like a practical science because I was doing a general biology degree, and I wanted something more specific. So it was a lot of fun. It was different.
I got one of those dragon fruits last year.
Yeah.
And I still have it. It's still growing.
Yeah, they'll do really
New
well.
things.
Can everybody see? You can kind of crouch around the window. I'll get out over here.
Yeah, I have
So this right here, this is our biotechnology lab here at the Land. We have a partnership with the U.S. Department of Agriculture, and we get to have two ladies that work in here on various projects that they're funding. Here at Disney, we just like to give the general public kind of a look at what the government is doing, local agencies. What we do here for Epcot is the tissue culture, which is all the tiny jars on either side of the window. Tissue culture is typically, they'll isolate one cell of a plant and propagate a whole new plant. Here we just take really tiny cuttings. So you might take cuttings at home when you're trying to multiply your plants. We'll do the same thing, they're just a lot smaller cuttings, and we'll insert them into the jar with the gel at the bottom. Inside that gel has nutrients, it has oxygen, it has water. We'll also sometimes add a little bit of a plant rooting hormone that the plants produce naturally. We'll just kind of concentrate it down so they get a little bit more of it. And that promotes them to root sooner. So this way we can propagate a whole bunch of plants at one time, and we can use them as backups for the ones that we have in our show greenhouses. A lot of these specifically go to the tropics greenhouse, the big domed one. Those plants, the seeds either have really specific conditions that they need to grow in, or the seeds are very reduced, like in bananas. So we'll just take cuttings of that plant and propagate it that way. It's a little bit faster. And then we also sell them in our mini gardens if you're interested in that.
That's what I have in here.
Yeah.
Oh, in there? You got one?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you guys have any questions about this, the tissue culture? No?
What's the clear stuff though again?
It's agar.
Yeah.
It's like a seaweed-based media. I'm not sure. They use a specific type because it's a little bit clearer, so people can see the roots growing. That's people like the guests like it. They picked a solution that's just a little clearer than usually is a little cloudier.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Go ahead into the greenhouse. Greenhouses.
I guess that keeps out all the bugs from coming in and out. That keeps all the bugs from coming in and out.
What?
That fan keeps all the bugs from coming in and out.
Yeah, like pushing them out.
Yeah.
Alright, so all of our greenhouses here at the Land
Oh,
are
yeah, they're
hydroponic
moving.
greenhouses. And what that means is we don't use any soil to grow our plants. We grow everything using a nutrient solution that has everything the plant could ever need. Here in our creative greenhouse, we apply that nutrient solution to our plants in a bunch of different ways. The Brussels sprout system here, there are misters inside of the wall that will mist the nutrient solution onto the roots of the plants. You can kind of see the roots are fully exposed right here where there's a gap in the wall.
Yeah.
You could do this completely stationary. A lot of these systems aren't the most efficient systems. They're just really good, fun ways of doing things. The column pots here, they are also aeroponic systems. They're completely hollow pieces of PVC. And you can see there's like little seats on the side. You just stick the plant in there and the roots hang down in the middle. These are a little bit better than the Brussels sprout system just because the roots are insulated. They typically grew a little bit better.
Painting in the ground.
We use rock wool. It's volcanic rock that they heat up and spin like cotton candy. And it comes in a big flat and we'll stick, there's little holes in it and we can stick the seeds in there. Once they germinate, you can break off like a cube of it and then we'll just kind of shove it down in there.
Okay.
There's no nutrient value in the rock wool. It's just basically holes in it. Yeah, there's misters along each there, and anytime that column pot passes, there's a magnet, and it'll trigger it to go off. I think it's about 5 seconds. Yeah, it's a very good system. These systems are also very good. These are wood grow. In here we use the same rock wool material and perlite. A lot of people use perlite. We'll fill them in there. We'll put the seeds right in the corners, and then we can stack up the pots. And there's holes in the bottom of each one, so we can run the irrigation in at the top, and it'll just trickle all the way through. These do better even than the column pots because of that media around the roots. So you don't have to mist them continuously. It's a lot nicer for your energy bill as well. You're not running the pumps
Oh, it all funnels down here.
So all funnel down. All of these
And then
are
this
all sent back
drains
into
it?
the same tank, and they're misted up to the top again. You can set up recirculating tanks for each one if you wish. That's the big thing with hydroponics here is we try to recirculate as much of the nutrients as possible.
So do you recycle the water?
Yeah, we'll just pump it up again and again as often as we can.
Hey, a ladybug.
How often do you clean it up?
We will leave it in there for the life of the
Ladybug.
plant, and then we'll compost it. And we have composters here.
Right there.
Yeah, Yes, most of everything in here goes to some of the World Showcase pavilions. We have different types of basil and different types of oregano, so they like that. So most of this goes to World Showcase. The next greenhouse, a lot of that goes to Central
Do they use these feeder tubes that contain water?
Like an arrow garden. Is that what you're talking about?
I'm not sure if that's what it's called, where you sink the container
I know.
into the soil. and
Yeah,
then-
I know what she's talking about.
We don't use them here. We'll just stick the seeds right in the media. But I'm sure that they would still work.
I think she means like the water's in the tube and then it fills up the container until it gets to the level and then that stops the water flow.
No, we don't use anything like that.
And the other question, are there any plants that cannot thrive in that kind of environment where there is absolutely no soil?
These, you just kind of have to play with it. Some varieties will do better than others, I'm sure. But I mean, I'm sure there are things that will do better. I'm sure. We do a lot of variety trials before we put in the first green. So we test everything. This greenhouse will be a little less air conditioned. It spreads things around every month. The other greenhouses we have cooling pads, and there's furnace that way. Because a lot of nursery grows, we pull air conditioning in there. So this next greenhouse might be a little cooler. Yeah, ladybugs are very good. They'll help eat aphids, which are kind of the bad bacteria that live in them. They feed them on the vine. So ladybugs will eat aphids, mealybugs. They can. We have 4 different varieties in here, and all the different there's a whole family of them. There's like some big
Can't wait to see the fish farming.
These all come with rocks that they heat up into the top of the platform. So we throw it in there for them.
That smells good. Mom, just put your face right here. It smells good.
It's either raspberry or strawberry.
Strawberry. See, it's a strawberry. Strawberry. Ah, smells good. Yeah.
You don't get this here.
Really good.
I'm sorry. I just feel way down that that's the whole thing.
Okay.
Alright, so you guys want to kind of scoot down here a little bit? We got a big group.
This is cool.
Alright, so the handout that I just gave you, it describes a hydroponic grow tank that you could do at home. This one's a really simple system. You can kind of modify it however you would like. We have a fish tank here, and we have it filled with nutrient solution. We have an air pump in there, just a stone air pump like you would get at a pet store for a fish tank. We have styrofoam floating on top, and then this is the rock hole that I talked about, where it's like the big flat, and we'll just stick the seeds in there. And you flip it over, you can see the cubes. We'll just break those off. For this system, we'll just cut a hole in the styrofoam and squeeze one of those cubes just right in there. So it's just floating on top of the nutrient solution. The roots will go down, they'll get everything they need. You've got the air pump in there so they're not going to drown. They'll get some oxygen. Typically this does well with smaller plants, herbs, leafy greens. You could probably do like a strawberry plant or something like that in here as well.
Could you put fish in there?
You don't want to put fish with the nutrient solution. You might want to have a separate tank with the fish and then run that water up into here and then back through. And probably have some filters on it, but you don't want fish in the nutrients because they'll probably algae grow in there. Algae's a big thing. We keep it covered to prevent sunlight from getting in. And it kind of decreases the algae growth. The 5-gallon buckets, they work really well because they're already opaque. So if you want to do something like a tank or a bucket of 2 can, they'll work. People like the fish tank so they can see the roots down.
What's the proper spacing between
What?
plants?
Yeah, they're in my pocket.
Depends. You can just play with it and do whatever you want. We keep it kind of small so
Yeah.
it can get bigger. If you want to harvest it as it's growing and just kind of
Where's the
keep
ride?
keep it going as long as you can. You probably want to space it out a little bit more so it can get a little bit bigger. As far as
Edible
leaving
flower.
the tank, anytime it gets low, you can just add new nutrient solution, but you don't, while the plants are growing, you don't ever have to clean it out and change it out. You can just let it do its thing and just add new. Don't ever take them out.
yeah,
That would
sorry.
stress them.
Where do you get the nutrient solution?
On the back of your handout, there's a list of the different vendors that we use. I'm going to wash my hands real quick. Grodan is where we get our nutrient solution and our media. BioWorks is where we get the systems, some other systems that we purchase. Crop King is another good one. Vertigrow is where we get the stackable pots. And then there's some different information resources on there as well.
You always keep the sides covered so no light gets
Yeah,
through?
to
Okay.
prevent algae growth.
Alright.
But if the algae was growing in there while the plants are growing, just leave it?
You can leave it. You don't want it just because it'll take away a lot of nutrients from the plants. We'll just scrub it off by hand when we're ready to harvest it, but you really don't want it to just because it'll prevent your plants from growing as quickly. So these are some cucumbers that we grew in the greenhouse next door. Yeah, you can eat it. This variety is a type of English cucumber. This variety specifically tends to have a thinner skin, so most people think it's a lot fresher.
Seedless, right? You know that?
Yeah. Huh. That's cool.
Thank you.
That is good.
Did we get one? Yeah? Alright. Go ahead.
Good flavor.
Next greenhouse.
It's critical to have air bubbling in when you drop it in the water.
Just to give them some oxygen. If they sit in there too long,
That's air
be
pressure.
overwhelmed and have a drown. But you need some
Air pressure, man.
What was that?
That's air pressure. There's air in there.
What?
Some air.
Oh, see, it's spraying mist and air and
Misting?
stuff. See?
Is that like your
Excuse me.
So these are our cucumber plants. Yours came
Air.
from the trellis across the canal. You can see what we're doing is we're taking that one main stalk of the cucumber plant all the way up to the trellis and then forming a canopy on top. What that does is it keeps the topmost leaves doing the most work. They're usually the newest growth. The lower leaves, we'll start to remove those. You can see over there, we're kind of occasionally removing those lower leaves, and that just keeps those top leaves working. Yeah.
What exactly is that?
Please remain seated all the time, so please keep your hands and arms inside the boat. Thank you.
These right here, these are our nutrient solution tanks. So we keep it separated into two tanks because it keeps it fluid a little bit longer. If we let it all sit together as one big tank, all the salts are going to start to form again. So we want to keep it liquid, keep it churning. So that's why we keep it separated. This sign up here, it lists what we put in each tank. If you're interested, take a picture of it.
And then that thing making the noise.
Yeah, that's the hiccup. There's an air pump on it, and it's taking a little bit of each and mixing it with some more water, and then sending it out to our plants. On the cucumbers here, they're growing in large rock wool cubes, and then the long bags underneath are coconut core. It's the husk of a coconut. They rip it up, and they put it in these long bags. You could rip open the bags and put all that material in a pot if you chose, or if you choose. We keep it in the bags just because it's easier to clean up later.
Is it better to grow it in like a pot or like in the like what you guys?
It kind of depends. These plants will get typically very big, so we want them to have a lot of space so their roots to spread out.
And when you mix plants and all of your plants like different?
Yeah, you like have different plants growing in the same container. Yeah, you definitely could. I don't see any reason why you wouldn't be able to. There's no nutrient value in the media, so as long as you're giving them nutrients, they'll be able to grow. As long as you're giving them enough, also, so they're not fighting with each other.
So that coconut husk, whatever you call it, can you keep reusing and reusing?
Yeah,
and reusing?
you could keep reusing it. We throw it in our soil dumpster, and Disney likes to use it in different landscaping projects that they're doing. But yeah, you could reuse it. Just kind of maybe soak it with water and let it dry. Just kind of rinse anything off that might be growing in it, or clean it a little bit. I mean, you could reuse it
So
definitely.
it all comes down to cost. By the time you're growing it like this, like how much does it cost you to grow the cucumbers? You must have worked it out somewhere along the line.
I mean, I don't know the exact numbers. It's a lot more efficient because they live longer, so you're getting more off of one plant. So you don't have to be changing them out as often. And what's nice is that you can pretty much grow them all the time because you're always giving them nutrients. They can grow in almost any condition. Yeah.
I'm noticing across they have these plastic ties holding it to the string. Don't the plants have their own like little vines that hold them to different things?
The suckers and stuff. What we do is we support the plant so that it doesn't have to support those suckers, and then all those resources can go to the fruit instead.
Okay.
So it doesn't have to worry about it.
Yeah, because those are probably adding to the price of everything. Those little ties.
These are actually pollen. The sachets are beneficial mites, and right now we don't really have a colony of bad mites. We put them on there as like a preliminary measure, and they'll eat the pollen. So it's like a supplemental food source for them.
How long does it take for a cucumber to grow?
When it's cold, it'll be full grown in 3 or 4 months. In the summertime, it's like every 2 months we change them out.
Is this just gonna grow one?
Like one fruit?
Yeah.
Yeah. No. It'll grow. This whole thing will go all the way up here, and it'll produce multiple fruits. So it'll look just like that.
That's
this right here. This is our Mickey mold. Just to kind of demonstrate how fast our plants grow, we'll put a cucumber in here when they're about the size of a pencil, and they can fill the whole thing out in about 8 to 10 days. So it's very, very quick. All right, we'll move down here to the tomato tree.
It's a Mickey mold, right?
Basically, the picture there is what it'll be shaped like. So yeah. This is a really long YouTube video. Huh. What's this? Yeah. That's one big air conditioner if I'm right.
How come they were planting tomatoes all they just put out the same way?
We had, I think it was with the bell peppers, we got a root fungus with them, and we had to clean everything in that area, and we couldn't reuse the media or anything.
Even in the ground?
Even in the ground, if it's already there, especially the fungus, it's probably going to hurt. I would recommend going in top. That's what I would recommend. Yeah. So this right here, this is our tomato tree. It's the same technique as the cucumbers where we suspend the plant so it doesn't have to do a lot of work. We're just using one plant instead of 40 plants. You can see the tree across sticking out. I like using that one as my example. If you see how the branches are very wide and they kind of go out like this, that was because from the very beginning of that plant's life, it was heating it up to pull those apart. So that's a very good example of a good trimming technique because that wasn't there.
Smells
The
great.
branches are so wide, you're going to get a lot of sunlight on a lot of those leaves. You're going to get a lot of surface area. And then we'll still remove the lower
We have
leaves
a
on this
lot of
plant,
leafy
even on the
greens.
ones that really tend to be empty. We'll go through and make sure there's some sunlight coming through, so you don't have a lot of leaves that aren't working for the plant. We do all of our pollinating by hand. With this one, we have a wand that looks like a bumblebee on a stick that we'll use. I've had guests tell me that they've used hair dryers and leaf blowers. You just kind of want to stir it up a little bit. So, yeah, just kind of shake it around a little. The strawberries, we'll just walk through strawberries and kind of what the wand does.
I have a question. Why are the leaves, the edges of the leaves on these plants turning brown?
When they have a lot of nutrients, sometimes the leaves burn.
Oh.
So they're just burning from the sunlight right now.
That's not overwatering.
Not overwatering, it's all the nutrients that they're getting.
And also, why are the strawberries like darker? And I noticed one of the strawberries is like dripping juice onto the ground over there.
They are old. We don't harvest these.
Yeah.
They're purely for smell, so that even the
Okay.
bow ride can smell them.
Yeah, I can smell that from here.
We don't harvest them.
How do you harvest those?
We'll harvest them, as we need them, so to speak. We try to leave some red ones on though for the bow rides. Here on show, they'll live about 13, 14 weeks. The last maximum for this one was 11. The world record